Hi everyone, this is EstaRa with a message for you today, a Twinflame message for Friday, July 6, 2018. So this is my fourth attempt of doing this video. I tried it twice yesterday, failed miserably, and I'm trying it again today. So I just recorded like a brief little testing 3 times and it worked the third time. So hopefully the fourth time is a charm. So I've been having computer internet stuff going on, which we all know is because Mercury retrograde shadow period has begun. And lo and behold, Mercury retrograde shadow period affects me more than it affects me during the retrograde period itself. So I have been wanting to do this message since the 4th of July here in the US. So I want to talk about the divine masculine today a little bit, and also about the divine feminine a smidge, but mostly about the divine masculine. So if you haven't been experiencing extreme heat, like in the northeast of the United States, it's really, really hot and humid and sticky, and it feels really like thick and heavy to move through. It's so telling of what is happening with the divine masculine. So as many of you are aware, the divine masculine is coming to their knowing, and they are in this breaking free mode. They want freedom. They crave freedom. And so when I wanted to do this on the 4th of July, I really wanted it to be about the divine masculine's freedom energy. So that's why we're talking about divine masculine today. So in the last, I would say, couple weeks particularly, the divine masculine has been feeling this call to be free, wanting to break free from the old patterns, break free from the life they're living that no longer serves. A lot of the stuff that they're experiencing is old energies, right? So they're still stuck in old patterns, old ways of behaving, old relationships that have they've outlived they're they're outliving the relationship. I guess what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. But you all know when I get into this vibrational frequency, I never know what's going to come out of my mouth and it just flies out. But I knew I wanted to talk about divine masculine. So what they're telling me and what I've been getting is the divine masculine is literally looking at the relationships they're in, the geographic locations they're living in, the circumstances they're living under, and as well as like jobs and, their heart. Because their heart is calling, their soul, the embodiment of their new energy body has been integrating, right, for over a year now. Actually, probably a couple years, but particularly in the last year, it's been really, really filtering into their reality. And it's making their heart wake up and their soul voice get louder than their head voice. So there's lots of change happening for the divine masculine. So some of you have reached out to me saying, yes, your twin has reached out to you. Some of you are very excited because new connections have been created between you and your twin out of nowhere. And some of you are still kind of like, where the hell is my twin? Why is he not there? Lots is going on in the ethers with the divine masculine right now. So, and some of you have said, well, he was really, really consistent reaching out to me, and all of a sudden he's disappeared again. Oh my God, is he running from me? No, 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 he's not running from you. And I want you to get rid of the words runner and chaser, because we're not in that timeline anymore. We're not in that energy anymore. What we're in is union energy. So please stay in the union energy. So what I want to say to you is, those of you who've been reaching out to me and some of my clients that I've been working with, the fears for you are coming up really strong. And we'll talk about that in a few moments. If I don't get to it, remind me by emailing me and saying, hey, you never got to the divine feminine. So divine masculine is looking to break free, right? They're all getting ready because they can't live under the circumstances they've been living under for so long. And this has been like their reality for a really long time. And they really thought that's what it was supposed to be. So the universe is saying, nope, let's shake it up. We're shaking you up because it's not working, and we want you to know how uncomfortable it really is for you. So the divine masculine is recognizing that. They are reaching out to their beloveds. They are remembering the peace, the feeling they felt with their beloved. They remember how amazing the energy is between you and your beloved. And so that is actually what is superseding what they quote unquote know on the 3D level to be their reality and their truth. Their heart and their soul is jumping up and down, like I would say, like little Mexican jumping beans. You know those little beans you stick in your hand and they bounce? That's what it's like with the twin flame inside of them, the divine masculine twin flame. So what that means and what does that translate to for all of us? That translates to them going through so many adjustments internally. They're not still. They can't stay still, and they're not able to you know, it's funny. I want to say they're not able to focus because that's really what's happening. They're not able to focus like they used to. And I say focus like they used to, meaning like be able to push it aside, be able to distract, be able to compartmentalize and then focus here instead. No, what's happening is all these things are kind of like fireworks going off for them, like little epiphanies here and there, and they keep running into the same patterns and they keep running into the wall. Some of you who've been saying like, oh my God, you know, he was coming forward all of a sudden, he's not. The divine masculine is not avoiding you. The divine masculine is avoiding themselves. Recognize that you are a mirror reflection to them of who they are, and they're a mirror reflection of you, of who you are. But for them, what's happening is they're being called inside. They're being called to look at what's going on because they have to figure it out now. There's time is running out. They don't have time to play anymore. And so there's this beautiful energy kicking up inside of them. I say it's beautiful, but it's not beautiful how it feels. It's beautiful in the sense that it's just love is going to win. Love is winning out over everything. And so all this energy that's being cultivated inside of them, bouncing around, creating fireworks within their body and in their mind and their spirit and within the life around them, all of that is making them react in weird ways. So if your twin has been coming forward, and then all of a sudden they put the brakes on and they're a little freaked out, or they're kind of distracted and their mind is off elsewhere, that's because they're trying to figure out how to make things happen. Now, are they going to let you in on that secret? Probably not, because remember, they're divine masculine. Divine masculine has this belief that they can do it. They can do it alone. They don't need help. And they're not understanding the whole mentality of community and coming together, because it's in conflict with the way they were raised. It's in conflict with the way the divine masculine energy has been portrayed in the world around them. So when you think of the divine masculine energy and how it's been prevalent on the planet over the last many lifetimes, I'm saying many, but it's actually quite longer than many. It's been portrayed as independent survival, and I could do it on my own. But meanwhile, there's all these like beliefs and patterns that go along with that, in addition to their own personal beliefs and patterns that they were raised with. And so that's in conflict with what the divine feminine already knows inherently about coming together, bringing us into community and recognizing like-minded beings. That's new, and that's a little different for them, so they're not quite sure how to handle that, and all they want to do is like navigate through this. So what they're ending up doing is pulling inward, maybe pulling away from you, not because of you. Again, it's because of what's going on inside of them. So please own that and recognize that it's not about you that they are pulling away. They're not running away from you. They're running away from some of their own feelings. But the funny, interesting thing is the way they're showing it to me, my guys right now, they're showing me like a cat or dog chasing its tail. You know how they go around and they don't realize it's their own tail they're chasing? That's what's happening with the divine masculine right now. He's kind of going around in a circle, and it keeps bringing him back to the same point, And underneath that is this craving for divine unconditional love, this craving to be in union with their beloved. And on the surface, it may not be completely recognizable to them as that is what it is that's calling to them, or that is what it is that they really want because of their own scattered thinking. But that keeps coming back into their reality. It keeps coming back into the reality. So it's bringing them back to that point. So trust that inside of you. Trust that that is happening. This morning, I pulled a card for all humanity. I do that on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook or Instagram and you follow me, you see a card every day. I post a message every single day. And this morning, I was shuffling, and the card Faith came out. Well, that came out 3 days ago. And I said to Spirit, I'm like, we just had this card. I don't really want to do this card again. But if it comes out again, I'll shuffle. And if it comes out again, then we'll use that card. But actually, Spirit said, it's actually a really good reminder to have faith. But then next card that came out was believe. And so I said, okay, well, that's kind of similar to faith, isn't it? And Spirit said, no, it's not. Believe means you hold on to it. Believe means that despite anything else externally, that you just believe inside of that. And you don't think anything about what you're seeing. You trust what you know inside of you. And that's always the message I've always been given from my guides, particularly with regard to my twin flame. And that's the message I want to always instill in you, is believe what you know inside of you. And grant you, there's so much external crap out there that makes us like doubt and not trust and not believe. And our twin is going through lots of questioning, so it reverberates into our reality for lots of questioning. So believe without a doubt that they are evolving and they are changing inside, and the work is happening. I'm getting another quick visual that I want to share with you. The visual that I'm getting as I'm speaking to you is almost like a little team of roto-rooters going in and clearing out of your beloved all those negative thought processes that they've been carrying. That's been happening quite a bit inside of them, and that will continue to happen over the next several weeks. So what's really interesting is what's coming up is we have a new moon coming up next week, and we also have an eclipse season beginning. So that when I call it eclipse season, I think of an eclipse sandwich. So one eclipse, and then you have a couple weeks before the next eclipse. So be prepared for that really intensive shift and clearing that happens in the next few weeks, because you'll see, not right away. You might not notice it and recognize it until a couple months later, as my guides always say, but you'll recognize while you're going through it. It'll feel kind of icky. Trust the process. What's supposed to happen is going to happen. So with the divine masculine, what's going to happen in the next few weeks, because also we're going into a Mercury retrograde period, which usually slows things down and makes you come back to reflect upon the direction you're going in. Is this the right way for me? Is this where I'm supposed to go? This is like ideal timing for your beloved, because while they've been pulling back and being almost in a little bit of fear, if you will, and in their own little way, trying to cope with the changes, this Mercury retrograde in this eclipse is going to bring up massive challenges for them, but it's going to force their hand. It's going to force them to make choices that are different than what they've made in the past. And it's like, if you will, it's almost like the perfect storm that's creating change for them to see more clearly. And so that's really huge for your divine masculine, because what they're doing is they're going through all this stuff. It's like they're not quite at the place where they're forced yet to change, but they're being forced by, remember I said they're doing this circle. They keep coming around to the same things. That's going to get to be a breaking point soon for them. They can't stay in that. They can't stay in the pattern of going around in circles. They actually have to choose. It's like they're on a fence and they have their feet, they're teeter-tottering back and forth. They have to choose one way or the other. And that is coming for them in this next cycle of eclipses. Whether the answers are going to come to you right then and there, meaning that they're going to come and say, "Oh, by the way, here I am." That's not necessarily the case. It might take a few months for integration of that energy, but that will put, this next cycle will put that into play for them. So recognize that is happening. And the best that you can do is to hold that belief that it is happening, regardless of what you're seeing on the surface, regardless if you have communication with him or her, regardless if you have heard anything different. Just go inside of you. And I want to caution all of you who follow your twin on social media. I want to caution all of you who follow their comments, their pictures, or whatever. I want to caution you not to get caught up in that, because what happens is you get caught up in what's happening there, and then you lose sight of the truth, because there's lots of distraction out there, and there's a lot of energies that don't mind if you don't come together, because the truth is, bringing the twin flames together creates a ripple effect on the planet of divine unconditional love, which opens all hearts, and it leaves no stone unturned, and it will create an upheaval of love. And I love when I say upheaval of love, because think about it. If you're just gushing with love on the planet, imagine the massive positive change that would take place here on Earth, and what would happen for humanity going forward. And that is the plan. That is why we're here. We're not here for us individually. We are here for the greater good. And we get caught up as twin flames into the relationship piece, the human aspect of it. Like, I want to be with my twin. I want a baby with him. I want my whole life with him. However, that's not my only job. My main job is to unite and bring that love here. And then as a byproduct of that, everything else happens. So recognize that piece. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about the divine feminine, what's happening with her. So because the divine masculine is getting forced to do some stuff, and they are coming forward, and for those of you who haven't had contact with your twin but all of a sudden are starting to have contact with your twin, your insecurity issues are surfacing. So divine feminine, here's the thing, your twin is saying, here I am, front and center, I'm in front of you, I'm here, what are you going to do with me? Now, they're not going to say those words to you, although some might actually say that. Who knows? They might be very privy to that information. They're going to show you who they are, and you're going to have to decide, is this who I want to be with? Am I really ready? Because we've been saying, as divine feminine, we're ready, we want this is what we want. But here's the thing, just as they're going through an eclipse cycle, so are you. So what that means is your worst fears about relationship with your twin flame, your your baggage around relationships, your baggage and fears around, for example, a great one is abandonment. Like I know for me, I saw my twin this past weekend and we had a very limited time together. And when he left, the biggest energy I felt later that night, because he was feeling it, but that's another story, was abandonment. I felt like, oh my God, he's leaving me again. And it was a different level of that than I've ever felt before. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? And I went through some emotions over the weekend. What I want to tell you though is it's fueled by other abandonment stuff in my family. Like my mom is very ill. My dad is very ill, and I'm worried about them passing. You know, they're at the age where they are older and they're not in very good health. And so that is a true reality that could happen. So that's kicked up my stuff about my family, but then it actually filters into stuff about my twin flame. So that is a piece of what's happening. I don't know what your specific issues are regarding relationships. It could be various things, betrayal, whatever, distrust, I don't know, fear of being loved. Actually, that's what my guides just said is another one that's really big for twin flames. My big one was abandonment. And so, at least from what I recognized over the weekend. So my feeling is that just because I recognized it doesn't mean it's gone and for good. It means that the next few weeks I have opportunities to heal it and clear it and really look at where it's coming from and stop distracting myself and focus on it. Because my twin is coming to me, yet it kicked up my, oh my gosh, fear of being abandoned. And in some ways, when we have a fear of abandonment, I'm going to use this for an example because that's the one I recognize in myself. When we're afraid of being abandoned, what do we tend to do? We tend to want to reject the person before they reject us or not believe in it. That is not going to be of service of us going forward. That is totally not going to be helpful going forward. And it will actually prevent union. It will repel that person away because they're going to feel your fear, but they're not going to understand it's your fear. They're going to recognize it as their fear of you. And so that ties me back into coming into what I was feeling over the weekend. So in the last few years, if you've been following me, you know that I feel everything with my twin, like so much so it's very, very hard in the last couple years, particularly to decipher what is his and what is mine. I'm sorry, my phone is ringing. If you hear that in the background, we'll ignore that. What I found is that as my twin flame and I tend to I feel everything with him, and I think he feels everything with me, but I don't actually think he understands or recognizes it. So when I'm probably going through a really rough time, he's probably experiencing that and amplifying whatever he's going through. He might not get it, but he definitely must have the reverberation into his reality in some way, shape, or form, just as I have his reverberating in my reality. And so it's really funny right now, my ear is burning up on fire. So in some level, I know he's thinking about me and he's either talking about me or he's just like in a deep, like, oh my God, I want to talk to her feeling because my ear's burning. And that's usually what happens. My right ear starts to burn. It's a weird little, it's a weird little tidbit of information to share, but that's one of the ways I've always gotten him. He always comes on my right side, divine masculine energy. But what happened over the weekend is it's getting even harder in the last couple of years to really discern what is mine and what is his, because it's so in my field, because we're so united in every dimension but the physical reality. And the funny thing is we're starting to merge fully in the physical reality. We're not quite there fully yet. Obviously, that's why we're not together on a like day to day, but it's happening and I know it is. And that's why I'm having these experiences where I'm feeling his stuff. So when I felt that evening, I woke up in the middle of the night, I slept fine and I was in a really happy place because he surprised me. But then I woke up in the middle of the night and started to like feel angry, feel sadness, and feel abandoned, feel lost. And I started to like give into that and start to cry. And I recognized, not right at that moment, but later, I recognized, oh my God, this is not even me. These are his thoughts. I could actually hear his thoughts and how he was talking to himself. And part of it was he didn't want to leave me. And I actually had to make him leave because I had something happening. I was teaching a class and I had offered to like cancel it. And he's like, no, don't cancel it. I don't have much time. And then the time came when my class was coming and he was like, no, I don't want to go yet. And I'm like, well, you have to because I didn't cancel and these people are coming from a distance. So I didn't want to kick him out, but I had to. And actually, I think that's not a bad thing. It set a boundary with him and also made him recognize that my life is just as important as his, because I think my divine masculine gets caught up in his world and thinks his world is the only thing that revolves around the world is him. But anyway, that he was beating himself up, and it was easy for me to start beating myself up because, you know, it's a pattern that I had too. So it's easy to catch on to that and not recognize it's his. But I did recognize the words because those are things I would never say. But the feeling of abandonment is what he was feeling, and it really reverberated into my reality and made me start feeling it, and I actually felt abandoned by him. So it kicked up that. That is what I mean about us exchanging energies and always feeling each other's stuff. Is it's really important to question, is this mine? And if it's not, one of the things that I've been starting to do is saying, this is not mine. If it's meant to be transmuted, please clear it. But if it's not, I give it right back to you to deal with. You have to feel your feelings. So I send it right back to my twin energetically. I say, you have to own this. This is your feelings. You need to feel these. And I don't want to transmute it so much anymore, because the reason I don't want to transmute it is because he has to feel these feelings in order for him to shift his energy and to heal it and to move through it. As we know, as the more aware twin who's been dealing with this stuff, we have to feel it. We can't just ignore it. We have to work through this stuff. And while we might be thinking we did for years, and I know I have been thinking that, we still have it to deal with because it's still in our field somewhere. And the fact that it resonated in my soul as an abandonment feeling, that means I still have that to deal with as well. But it makes it easier because it's in my face, and I'm going to have more opportunities to look at that and recognize why I'm feeling abandoned. And again, I tied it back into my parents getting ready to cross over at some point. And that's huge because that's where it's coming from. So if I can work through that with my parents, and I don't have to do it on a human level, but if I can work through that on myself, through my highest self and my own presence, that will make it so that it doesn't interfere with me and my twin, to recognize he can never really abandon me. Yeah, on a human level, he could leave, but on a spiritual level and on a true knowing, he never leaves me. He's always with me. He's always in my heart and always in my spirit. We are one. We're already reunited. We're already we've been twin flames for eternity. So we're already in that merged place. And having that knowing supersedes the other feelings. However, it's when we lose sight of those feelings and those knowings that we struggle. And that's the message for the day, is about believing. So divine feminine, look at what's coming up for you. The next couple weeks, things are going to be revealed to you. And it might be about your twin flame coming towards you. And if you're like, well, no, I think I'm going to go elsewhere, I'm going to go look for someone else, then that's your stuff. That is your fear. Or he's too slow, he's not moving fast enough. That is about you. That is, if you feel like they're too slow, they're not fast enough, then what is it that you are feeling inside of you? Especially if they start to show the attempt to move forward and they're reaching out to you. What fears are coming up for you? Please pay attention, because they are real fears that you are carrying and you're putting between you and your twin. Those become obstructions in the relationship. And so when I say that, my guides are giving me an example to share with all of you. And this is about, so when your twin flame starts to move forward and reaches out to you, do you hold resentment from the past? Do you hold the belief system from the patterns that you've had in the past? Do you think that they're going to come and run away again? Do you think that they're not moving fast enough? Do you think that they're fearful? Are you locking them into those places? And are you reacting with, oh, I'm not going to deal with this right now, or I'm going to push them away? Or are you opening your arms and say, come to me, I'm here? What is your reaction to all this? And none of it is wrong, just so you know. My guides are really clear. None of it is wrong. It just simply is what you're feeling, but you need to look at that. Because if you are doing things that are creating old patterns, keeping old patterns, or creating more new obstructions between you and your twin, you need to recognize that's you, not just him or her. It's you. So it's very important to look at what's happening inside of you. Okay, what else do I want to tell you about what's happening? So I was saying how we have this eclipse season coming in, which is huge, huge, huge energy. And we are really like, recognize that your beloved is craving freedom. Freedom from 3D, freedom from the life they've been living. And you've been wanting them to move forward with you too, but are you really ready? Because that's one of the things that happens. We think we're ready, and then that person starts moving forward, and then we get pulled back, and we get a little scared ourselves. Again, look into those fears. What else do I want to tell you? I wanted to tell you that there is a push coming from Spirit. It's a push for, I want to tell you, like the Lion's Gateway, which is 8/8. So about a month from now, another galactic a galactic push is coming in specifically for the next year, and it's going to create a ripple effect forward for the next year. So it's going to start to set the tone for what's coming up. So pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to what's going on around you and within you, because a lot of things over the next month are going to reveal themselves to you. So your deepest, darkest rooted fears are going to start surfacing for you if you've not cleared them in relation to the twin flame particularly. I just want to say that is the key, is recognizing the twin flame journey, because right now that is your priority. And yeah, and so they want to say, the Twin Flame Collective is here, and they want to say thank you to all of you that are still on the journey, holding on and persevering, even though it's scary, and just recognizing that your twin is doing their job and they're doing the best they can, and recognize that by cheering them on, you know, even if it's just internally, you're cheering them on by sending them love. Just recognize that. One other thing I'd like to share is on July, oh my goodness, I don't even know what time of year it is. July 15th, Sunday, I do a group meditation. It's a webinar. I make it really inexpensive for people to join. It's $11.11. And basically, it's an opportunity for all twin flames to come together in energy. And we do a channel, we do some healing sometimes, and then we do a guided meditation. And those, if you can't make the time that it's scheduled, you can always sign up and receive the recording that evening, because that's usually what happens. I record the class, and then right after that, I send off the recording. So it's there for all of you. So even if you're not physically on the call, you will receive the benefits of this meditation and this connection to your twin, and also the energy update and all the information that actually will anchor for you. Next thing I want to quickly mention, my guys are like giving me lots of information to not forget. I have specials I will put in there for clearings and healing sessions. So if you are one of the twins that are struggling with some stuff really surfacing, and you're kind of like, I don't know what to do with it, please by all means reach out to me and take advantage of one of the specials. They're available for the rest of the summer. I want to keep it as an opportunity to really help everybody, because honestly, this is the push. This is it. We have to get in the game properly, and we need to be ready for all of it, and we need to not be afraid of what's coming for our twin. And it's time to get real, because we have a limited time of union. So I really want you to look at those specials. Oh, and then I want to recommend that you pay attention, keep your eyes open for the future. I am offering a retreat in just outside of Toronto, Canada, on the dates of September 21st to September 24th. The details will be coming this month, within the next couple weeks. It is regarding transformation, manifestation into fifth dimensional reality, and how to become a master at it. So it's a mastery class, and it's a really intensive weekend and a major workshop of healing, transformation, and manifestation. And I highly recommend it. So this is something I've been working on for over a year. I would say a year and a half now. And I've been working on probably longer. I want to say almost 2 years. My guide's been giving me information for this class, and all the details and everything started to come together recently, over the last year. And so I've been excited to hold it, but the reality is I need a place to do it on a retreat ground, so there's easy ways to connect with everybody and kind of submerge all of us together in it, so that we're not distracted by life outside of us, that we need to be in it in person. So I hope you can join me. Again, it's September 21st to September 24th. Mark your calendars now. It's just outside of Toronto, Canada, and I will be happy to get the details out to you in the next couple weeks. Please check your emails for that. If you're not on my email list, please email me at the email inside the inbox. I'm still having issues with my website, and it's not on, you know, I've had a couple people offer to help me, and if you're still willing to help me, please let me know that, because I was really having issues with my family stuff for a while, and my own physical stuff, that I haven't even thought about it. I just kind of stepped away from dealing with emails regarding business in terms of my website. So I'm sorry about that. But I definitely want to update that and get that information out to you as soon as possible, so people have trouble accessing my email through my website. Last but not least, I send all of you so much love and blessed union to all of you, because here we go, people. Here we go. This is it. The divine masculine is rising, and the divine feminine is saying, let's balance it out, honey, and let's make it happen. So let's bring this love and this balance to the planet. That's what we need. We can't stay in this place of like fear and this place of chaos that the planet is on right now, we need to shift up things pretty darn quickly. And so I send you all love and light and many, many blessings. Namaste. So much love.